Often when we approach policymakers and we say heat pumps, they say, oh yes, of course, residential, but we have covered that now in legislation. Then we say, no. We have another segment, another sub-segment in the heating industry, and that's big heat pumps, which can produce these 100 to 200 degrees. They can also produce up to 100 degrees, which is then very useful for district heating. But this very fact is not very much known in the general public.
Velká tepelná čerpadla umí poskytnout vysoké teploty pro teplárny i průmyslové aplikace. Omezují emise, snižují spotřebu energie a šetří peníze. Jejich schopnosti a potenciál představila v pražském O2 univerzu Mezinárodní konference Průmyslová tepelná čerpadla 2023.
The current way how we generate heat is very inefficient. We burn fossil fuels, and quite a bit of the energy contained in those fossil fuels we just waste as waste heat. And if we use electrification, technology such as heat pumps for making heat, maybe using waste heat or using ambient heat from the air, water or the ground, we actually get probably 3 times, maybe even 4 or 5 times more efficiency to deliver the same end result. To get the same amount of heat, we're using about 3 to 5 times less energy to start with. So doing that is way more efficient than burning fossil fuels. The question how much could we actually save by electrifying the entire economy around the world has been answered by a colleague of mine at the University of Oxford recently, Professor Nick Eyre, who has modeled the entire energy system and assumed we go to full potential of electrification. And just by doing that, he assumes we can get about 40% of final energy use savings just by electrification, not even by looking at things like improving processes or by better insulation of buildings, just by electrification.
Tepelná čerpadla využívají odpadní teplo, tedy zaplacenou energii, která dnes většinou bez užitku odchází komínem nebo chladičem.
Whenever you need cooling, you get heat for free. What we often do is we just dissipate that into the environment. And what we should do is we should take care of recovering this excess heat, which is inherent to the respective industrial process, but we should recover it and ideally take it from the end of the process, bring it back to the beginning and close energy cycles.
Přestože se nejedná o novou technologii, velká tepelná čerpadla dosud nejsou běžnou záležitostí. Proč tomu tak je?
Maybe typically you would imagine that I now answer technical obstacles and we need innovation and we need research and development, but when I talk to industrial heat pump manufacturers, they say, and not jokingly actually, they say first thing, electricity versus gas price. Second thing, electricity versus gas price. Third thing, electricity versus gas price. Then number 4, connection capacity. If we have remote production sites, we need the electrons to flow there, so we need megawatt connections, which is often not the case. They are not there. And then if they ask their distribution system operators, they cannot get them quickly. So that would be what's now the talk of town is anticipatory investments, assuming that we can electrify about 40% of industrial heat demand. Then let's look at all these facilities and start to invest in the power lines that we need to do that.
O rozvoj velkých tepelných čerpadel usilují i v Německu. Zpracovali si proto podrobnou analýzu, jak tento rozvoj urychlit. Na co přišli?
Well, I think the first thing really is to get the prices right. That was really the most important ask that came up in our study. You have this magic ratio of power and gas prices, and it must not exceed 2.5. So electricity has to be, the price of electricity has to be lower than 2.5 times the gas prices. And that makes heat pumps and industrial heat pumps an economical solution.
Examples are there in drying, in dairy production. Now we have distilleries, we have breweries, we have cheese factories, we have tobacco drying. A lot of applications show now that heat pumps do work, and they do work at whatever application scenario you can imagine. And for sure we could find examples worldwide, so that would be number 1. But as a businessman, you may be more concerned with the cost. And then we come back to what I said earlier. This is really not to be solved by hoping for it, but we have to address the relative price between electricity and gas. And if it is to subsidize industrial electricity prices for a while, that would be one opportunity. But in the long run, I think we should have a market economy that incentivizes to use the cleanest solution, the cleanest technology to decarbonize industry and also residential applications.
Ekonomika je jedna věc, ale i když továrna nebo teplárna projeví zájem o tepelné čerpadlo, Výběr technologie nebude jednoduchý.
We need really much more standardization in the market, especially in the market between 1 and 10 megawatts. If we could have more modular products, that would make purchasing processes much easier and it could also get the costs down.
I když máte peníze a vybranou technologii, čeká vás ještě jednání s úřady.
Many of the people we spoke to spent a very, very long time for getting approvals by local authorities. So I think that is the process side on the government side that needs to be accelerated. And also, I think there is also a lot of standardization to be done because this is a new technology for local authorities, even if it's been around for a long time. And they need clear rules and how to approve that and how to get those approval process faster and easier.
Elektrifikace výroby tepla vypadá lákavě. Má ale šanci uspět i v tak specifických podmínkách, jako je český průmysl a teplárenství?
So it's absolutely possible to use heat pumps in Czech Republic in the industrial sector. More or less 40% or so of the process heat is being produced at temperatures below 200 degrees centigrade, and that makes it suitable for heat pumps.
Velká tepelná čerpadla považujeme za velmi důležitou a perspektivní technologii, která určitě v teplárenství má velkou budoucnost a bude se rozvíjet. Díky velkým tepelným čerpadlům můžeme využít nízkopotenciální teplo, třeba z čistíren odpadních vod nebo i přímo z řek. Takže do budoucna je to určitě zajímavá technologie, počítáme s velkým rozvojem. V roce 2040 podle našich výpočtů nám vychází, že by až třetina tepla dálkového vlastně mohla pocházet z velkých tepelných čerpadel.
Tepelná čerpadla znamenají vyšší spotřebu elektřiny. Nebude jí ale v zimě nedostatek?
Nemá cenu z tepelných čerpadel dělat nějakou zimní špičku, že, kde to využití potom je třeba pár set hodin v roce, to by se ta technologie nikdy nezaplatila. Takže vlastně my potřebujeme nějaké solidní využití toho tepelného čerpadla. A na druhou stranu zase počítáme s tím, že třeba v těch zimních opravdu špičkách se to vlastně bude vypínat to tepelné čerpadlo, protože elektřina bude drahá a pro nás bude daleko výhodnější naopak tu elektřinu vyrábět třeba v kogeneračních jednotkách, než ji spotřebovat tepelným čerpadlem. Takže my tam vidíme i tu synergii, že vlastně v létě, když bude elektřina levná, tak pojedeme s tepelným čerpadlem a v tom extrémním období, kdy zase bude velmi drahá, tak ji vlastně budeme radši vyrábět, než abychom ji spotřebovávali.
Pro TZB Info a Estav TV připravil Jiří Zilvar.